What's going on, everybody? Fantasy football dad is now fantasy basketball dad. He is ready to draft a live NBA 2025-26 season best ball draft right on Underdog Fantasy. We'll be doing the $15 double dribble with $100,000 on top. And it's one of my favorite tournaments. Just love best ball, love NBA, love everything about late scratches, not having to worry about that, not having to worry about Embiid not playing, not having to worry about guys getting scratched at the last minute, and you have to alter your DFS lineups, or even your fantasy, having to come up with fantasy, every day, and having to worry about who's playing and who's not, and setting your lineups. Best ball, the NBA best ball is the best thing. It takes your highest scoring guards, your two forwards, highest scoring center, and a flex option, and you never have to worry about it. You just basically draft and forget it. And at the end of the year, you kind of find out where your teams are lying. So a lot of strategy goes into this. You got to kind of manage your team. The big names are out there, but the big names are usually like the ones likely to sit, depending on the team, depending on the player. A guy like Kawhi might not play his full allotment of games. Obviously, Embiid is, when he's on the floor, he's awesome. When he's not, he's not. And so it does depend quite a bit on who you draft, and basically look at the teams and look at teams that kind of are prone to resting their players. And I think a lot of the things that go into it are names that look good, but teams that tank, right? They're sitting their players or not playing their players, a la the Utah Jazz last year. Weren't really playing their players at all down the stretch. So marking in John Collins, players like that, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, minutes are limited, and so they're not really contributing to your team as much as you would want to, depending on where you drafted them. So a lot of strategy goes into that. It's important to make sure that you look for the players with really upside, or teams that can be contending this year. For example, obviously we all know what's happening with the Houston Rockets. They added Kevin Durant. They didn't add Kevin Durant so they can tank their season or not look to make a heavy playoff run. Obviously they got hit with a big blow with Fred VanVleet being lost for the year with ACL, but they do have Amen Thompson who's ready to step in, and obviously his stock has jumped really high. He went from the third round to now the second, and now I've seen him in the late first round, because he's going to eat up all those minutes on point guard. And their coach Udoka, he plays their players, he plays their starters. So you're going to be guaranteed a high number of minutes for Amen Thompson. Kevin Durant, they got to be careful with. He's obviously older now, and you got to be able to, you don't want to max him out in the regular season and have nothing for the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of allocate that. They obviously need him. They need his scoring. But at the same time, you don't want to, if you are going to be making a deep playoff run, you don't want KD to burn out and not be able to contribute in the playoffs. So Şengün, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Reed Shepard possibly, kind of an unknown what's going to happen, but Tari Easton I think is going to have a big role even off the bench, and Jabari Smith. So a team like Houston is obviously a team that you kind of want to target, because they are going to be gunning for and wanting to win every night. Another team like the OKC Thunder, maybe a little bit motivated to do the repeat. Shea played in a lot of games last year. Obviously, they kind of understood that they are now at their level of where they wanted to be, given the last few years where Shea would sit quite a few games and they were not doing so well. So obviously, they want to make sure they repeat. So they're obviously going to put up quite the effort. He didn't sit too many games last year, so I think you're still going to get a lot with Shea, and the same with Doncic. He's not going to want to sit. He wants to get the Lakers in the playoffs and do well with them. And obviously, skinny Luka now is a thing. So, Luka, you're kind of safe on top. Giannis is kind of an unknown. You don't know where the Bucks are going to be going this year. They could be either not well, and then obviously there could be a potential trade. But I've been reading a lot of articles and listening to a lot of podcasts, and what I've been reading is that it's very hard for Giannis to get in mid-year, just because of the salary. So it's most likely an off-season thing. But at the same time, if they're not doing well, which you never know. The East is not as strong. Obviously, Boston, maybe taking a back seat now. But at the same time, right? If you have your biggest trade asset or you want to protect your player, do you sit him if the team's not doing well the road? So that's a possibility with Giannis at the top. Wemby, obviously an awesome player. A little bit of unknown, got a little bit thrown a curveball last year with his blood clots, and he had to sit for the big loss, especially if you're drafting him early last year. But the hope is now that he's healthy, like you just never know. And so there's a little bit of risk with him. Obviously, Joker is Joker. Not much to say about him. A top fantasy player for the last few years. Obviously, a little bit maybe concerns for just trying to preserve him now that they have, like, the Denver Nuggets do have a lot of depth on their team. So the depth does help. Players like Jokic that don't have to give it up every night and play 38 to 40 minutes. That depth will obviously help. And come playoff time, when you look at best ball, there's obviously 4 rounds. His playoff schedule is a little bit weak in terms of how many games they play. That's something that you also have to look at, is the number of games that are played by each player, because you obviously want to maximize the number of teams. The number of players playing in those playoff weeks. The round 2, 3, and 4, which is the last about 7. You also take that into account. You don't want to forget about that. So you kind of want to you kind of want to make sure you take that into account, especially when you need those points. So a little bit of that. We also have, who else do we have down in this first round? We have Anthony Edwards, and Cade. You know what to expect. They're young players that are still ascending. They've been putting up a lot of points. And I think they're only gonna get better. So you have the ability to take Ant and Cade and be comfortable with those 2 picks. They play a lot of games. They're not gonna be tanking. Detroit is now a playoff team, which is hard to say, but the Pistons are now a playoff team, and that's what Cade's gonna strive for. He's not gonna want to sit back, and so I think Detroit is obviously all in. Paulo, I love as a player, one of my favorite players in the NBA. Got injured last year, so he only was able to play a lot less games than normal for him, and he's only been, I think, in his 3rd year now. But they added Bane. So the Magic are obviously Desmond Bane, and now the Magic are obviously striving to kind of get in one of those top seeds. So I think Banchero's fine. There's not a lot of other than him and Franz Wagner, there's not many front court options for the Magic. So Banchero's always going to play a lot. Obviously, they're going to have to share the ball with Bane now. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think Banchero's is still going to get his. And he's a great pick in the late first round. Sabonis is Sabonis. You know what he is. Double-double machine. Obviously, the Kings are a weird franchise. They keep on going. Not really, keeping the same core. They added DeRozan and Levine last year, and now they have a kind of a core where either they're gonna, I can't see them winning a championship, and I don't even know if I can see them winning a first round. Like, they're a playing team, I think, at best, or maybe they sneak into a 6th spot. But I think like. Just given their players and just given their history, I just think that they're gonna max out at the first round. But Sabonis also is a big that puts up huge numbers. Obviously playing with a lot of ball dominant players now, but he still gets his. He's still the centerpiece of the offense. Sets everything up. So I think Sabonis is still a valuable pick. Then we got Trae Young. Trae Young, surprisingly, I think everyone kind of writes him off, but he does really well in fantasy, just because 3-pointers and assist upside. And now that the Atlanta's kind of like going all in, right? They added this. They up their depth pieces with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Jalen Johnson's back. And I think they got their first round pick from last year, Rishad Shea. So he's starting now as well. Dyson Daniels made a big step up. So he can contribute right away. So they have a really good starting five. So Atlanta is on the up and up. They're probably going to overtake possibly Boston or Indiana for one of the spots in the East, in the top of the East. So watch out for Atlanta. I think Trey's going to do really well with a lot of playmakers, on the floor with them. We talked about Şengün. Anthony Davis, we know what Anthony Davis is. Anthony Davis is one of the best players in fantasy if he's able to stay healthy. So you do want to make sure do want to get at least 60 to 70 games from Anthony Davis to pay off. But that's been the biggest Achilles heel for Anthony Davis, trying to stay on the floor. That's been the hard part. When he is able to stay on the floor, he is dominant. I think he's gonna be a big piece. Obviously, we know he's gonna be a big piece of that Dallas offense, and I think the offense flow through him. But obviously, all it is health. If he's able to stay healthy, AD is a big smash. And I think the thing with Dallas is they're going to be competing. I don't think they're going to want to sit. So one of those teams are probably going to want to play for it. They obviously got the number one pick Cooper Flag in there. I don't think that's going to affect Anthony Davis in any way. Anthony Davis is still going to get his. And so it's all about health with AD. Pick in the last, if he stays healthy, like I said, a top 3 or 4 fantasy player in the end of the first round. So and you got Devin Booker. Hard. I don't know really what to say about Phoenix this year. They're not going to be good. That's for sure. But Devin Booker is going to get his on the Suns team. There's nobody else that he has to contend with for shots, and he's going to be the main playmaker. He's going to be doing all right for this Phoenix Suns. You just kind of think about how well the Phoenix Suns are actually going to be this year, and then the possibility of a trade candidate, or if they keep him, do they sit him to kind of get some? I don't know. I really don't know the draft, how it works, draft picks that they have, and what sometimes you owe draft picks to certain teams. I think they owe draft picks to the Brooklyn Nets for the trade for KD, but you just don't know if he's going to stay. But he is pretty durable. He does play a lot of the games till the end. So he's a good pick just because he's just going to have a crazy usage rate, probably in the 30s. And just like I said, maybe 25 shots and with point guard duties. So Devin Booker, maybe for the volume, you're going to get quite a bit early in the season. The mid-season, yeah, for sure. But later in the season, it's kind of hard to say. Does he burn out? Is he, with all the minutes he might have to play? Can he get it? Possibly. So and that's the risk with Devin Booker. Amen Thompson, even though we kind of refer to him as a point guard, he is a wing. Point guard on DraftKings, wing on Underdog here, so that kind of does help. But we talked about Amen Thompson. He's going to be up there for minutes played, I think, this year with Tyrese Maxey. So I think Amen Thompson is a great pick. A little bit earlier than we would obviously expect, and we still don't know what we're going to get. But I just think with the minutes that he's going to play, all the stuff that he offers, rebounding, steals, he's maybe not the best shooter, but at the same time, he drives to the hoop really well. So I think he's always gonna have the ability to get that, because just given the Şengün and Durant are gonna draw so much attention, that it's gonna open up some floor for him as well. So then we have Jaylen Brown, one of the biggest unknowns. It kind of worries me that Boston, obviously this year we saw the mass exits from Boston. Drew's gone, Angus is gone. Tatum's injured, so that's a big piece of the team, and we just don't know what's going to happen, right? Boston could just do really well, and just because they're coaching, just because the players they still have, the way they work, possibly just get into a play-in. Possibly, I don't think they're going to be a 12th place finish. They might get into the play-in, and it all depends on whether they want to keep on or maybe they want to rest Jaylen down the stretch and save him for next year when Tatum's back. Why put him through all these minutes if he's not going to, God knows they're not going to contend. So it's kind of interesting to see. I think he's going to have great numbers, obviously in the beginning and middle of the season, but I think maybe the second half is kind of worrisome as to whether or not he is still going to be, if Boston's contending, or if whether or not they just think, okay, you know what, Tatum's not here. He's coming back next year. Let's save Jaylen. Let's bring it back with him and Tatum and and maybe add a piece for free agent now. They got some room. So yeah, Jalen's interesting again. Obviously, he's gonna be the focus of the offense. We've seen times last year where Drew, Porzingis, Tatum, been out. And then it's all Jalen, right? Jalen and Derek White. So all the offense is going to go through them. They don't really have players that can do what he can do. So, yeah, interesting with him. Cat will be interesting again. He was one of my favorite picks last year. He was going in like the third round or fourth round, and I was picking him in the second and late first, just because it's Tom Thibodeau, and I knew that Tom Thibodeau was going to play Cat's ass off. So, and that kind of worked out for me last year. This year's a little bit different. I think they are going to be starting Mitchell Robinson with him, and I think he's still a good stretch for Cat. That's what he's really all about. So I think Cat is still a good pick. They are going to be playing faster with Mike Brown as their new coach, and I think that's going to help. He doesn't have to bang in the middle with the big man, and gets out, gets Mitchell Robinson, do all that, and he gets out to be the primary focus of offense along with Burns. So, I think he's a good value pick. Not a value pick. I think he's still a good second round. Not bad. Then we got KD. Scotty Barnes is a bit unknown because now they Brandon Ingram back. They got RJ Barrett. They got quick. So there's a lot of honestly, just don't know how it's going to go in terms of the way that they're gonna do that in terms of who can get the ball. Any one of them can go off any night. Ingram, RJ, or Barnes. We still know Barnes will probably be the primary, handler, but Ingram does that too. So, and quickly is a point guard. So I just don't know how it's gonna play out. But I think his numbers might take a little bit of a dip, given there's only one basketball. Siakam we already talked about in terms of a lot of talk about him, given Halliburton's out. So with Halliburton out, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year. Obviously, they went to the finals last year, maybe overachieved a bit. And now that Halliburton's out, a lot of players are going to have to step up. One of my favorite players to pick in best ball this year has been Benedict Mathurin. Obviously, I'm concerned about how much he offers other than points. But guy's gonna have that much usage like he's shown when Halliburton's ever been out. It's always good to have a player like that that's always willing to shoot and get his points. Sometimes you just need those kind of players. So top I think that's still a good pick. But I'm coming up here. The clock has started for me, and I think I'll see what the Pilgrim does. But so I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis. I'm gonna take that jump, but that's a little risk, and just kind of go with AD. Like I said, I think AD has a monster year if he's able to stay healthy. But that's like every year with AD, so you are taking that risk into account. And he's one of my favorite players, so I just have to let it go. It is what it is. Take AD, take the points, take the rebounds, take the blocks. He's a monster. He's going to be asked to do a lot on that team, so on that Dallas team. So I'm going to take him and just hope it works out. And if it doesn't, it is what it is, like I said. But you are playing for that upside. So I'm going to kind of take a look at what I can probably get down the road. I do have some options here. See available to me at 34, 39. I'll probably, okay. Let's take Devin Booker. like I said, a little bit of risk, but at the same time, how about getting all those points in the beginning of the year? Like I said, Devin Booker is going to be the everything on that offense. There's only he's only going to have himself. We obviously added Jalen Green. He's injured or he hurt his hamstring again. So we're not sure how reliable he's going to be this year. But what you get in Jalen Green, you're only getting really points and not much else. So he's not a kind of guy that you would really hang your hat on but I think with Jalen, he's not going to take any touches away from Booker when it comes to like maybe a little bit of playmaking ability, but at the same time, he's more of a shooter. You don't have to be worried about Devin Booker at this point. So, so let's just take a quick look at the draft, see how it's going so far. Like I said, the first 6-7 picks are kind of like the same. They interchange a little bit. But you got Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, Doncic, SGA. And then you got Ant, and then Cade. Normally Cade would probably go on the 6th spot and then Ant, but like I said, these kind of interchange. Can't go wrong with the other two. Banchero goes next, then Şengün. I took Anthony Davis in the 10th spot. Then Jaylen Brown went 11. So it's first time I've seen in the first round. And then Sabonis on the 12th. Then we had Trae Young on 13, the first pick of the second round. Then Cat. I took Devin Booker. Amen Thompson went next. I was looking at Amen. I do like Amen Thompson. So I was kind of torn between taking him or Booker, but I went with Booker. And hopefully I can get a wing on the way back. So Amen, Barnes, Durant, Siakam, Flag, Giddey, Jalen Williams, Harden, and Bam goes the end of the second, and then Donovan Mitchell. So interesting for the first overall, the first player here that took Jokic and Bam Adebayo first and second. Kind of weird to have two bigs when you have the option of getting a really great guard. But it is what it is. And then Donnie took Donovan Mitchell, Mobley, Jalen Johnson, Zion, Steph Curry, and now Brunson was the last pick. So still some great names to be on the board right now. I do like Tyrese Maxey. I don't think he's going to last. LeBron is out there. Obviously, LeBron is the concern. He's now 41 years old. He's missing the first month. Is he going to play? Is he not? And I think sometimes you just have to. He's still LeBron James, right? He still had a great season last year. He's playing with Doncic. He's going to miss the first month. I think it's kind of baked in now when he's kind of coming into the third round. It's kind of interesting to see with that. But for me, I think I'm going to go with Morant, like I'm a French speaker or something. Ja Morant, obviously big concern now with his injury history. That's always a big concern. But the thing with Ja is that when he's playing now, that even like with Bane gone, there's more usage to go around. He doesn't have to compete with Bane for those, as a guard. So I think that's going to be very helpful. All it is, I think my team should just be, if they can stay healthy, they're going to smash team. That's what I think they should be called. Like I said, if they can remain to stay healthy, my team should be okay. Ja and Anthony Davis bring a lot of injury risk, but when they're on and they're playing, they're league winners, man. So happy with the team so far. Let's see how it goes. I knew this was going to happen now, and you know what? Let's take LeBron James, King James, to this team. Reunite him with Anthony Davis one more time. Obviously, there's a big risk. He's missing the month, but it's just a month, right? Like, how many games is that? Like, could be possibly, 3 or 4. No, 3 or 4 games. Maybe up to 10 games. And if he comes back and he's fine, like, you're getting LeBron James in the 4th round. I'll take that all day. Like, there's so much risk involved with that. Obviously, my team, like I already said, like I've already dictated, my team if they can stay healthy, will smash. So why not live up to that and take LeBron James in the 4th round? and as a wing, I needed him anyway. So what I'll do now is I'll maybe go a little bit heavy on the wings, just to kind of offset that LeBron injury for the first part of the season. So I'm going to probably target players that are a little bit more like I know that'll do well as wings, or just dependable players that are wings, right? That can just give me consistency throughout the first half of the year or the first month or even the month, just so LeBron can come back. So I'll kind of go with that. So my team so far is AD in the first. Then I took Devin Booker in the second round. And on the third round, I took Ja Morant. And then the fourth, I took LeBron James. So not bad. Like I said, my team has a lot of risk. So it is what it is. I'm going to be living high or living low, depending on what happens. But if all four of these players stay healthy, I'm really happy with this team. So I have pick number 58 and 63 on the way back. So around that ADP, you got Brandon Ingram, you got Lauri Markkanen, you got Zach LaVine, Mikal Bridges, Mateus Buzelis, Oscar Thompson, Amen's brother. So I really I like him. Ivy's out. And I don't know if Ivy's healthy. He's going to be out for another 4 weeks. I think he got surgery again on his arthroscopic surgery or on his knee. So, I'm not sure if he's going to be healthy this year. So, and I think Oscar, God, John Morant and Asar. Sorry guys. But yeah, it's going to be, interesting to see what happens in Detroit. They all, like I said, they're competing. They're not gonna settle for. They almost took the Knicks last year and almost did really well. So it'd be interesting to see how Detroit does it. But I like Asar Thompson. And maybe one of those picks, like I said, like I can depend on him for the first few months until LeBron's up to speed and healthy, and hopefully he remains healthy for the rest of the year. So, Sar did have blood clots last year, so he did miss the majority of the first half of the year. Was able to come on strong. The concern with him is obviously he's high motor, can't really shoot, but does everything else really well. Defends the top player, which can usually get him to foul trouble. So there's always concern there. But when he's on and if he's initiating the offense like they want him to do, with Cade, I think he's a great pick on that round. So I'm gonna chill with the guards unless there's anybody, but I don't think there is. So I really like him, and I'm just trying to take a look at who else is there. I like Brandon Ingram. I like Buzelis as well. See one of my guys. So Buzelis goes. So I think I have to take Asar here. I'll take him a little bit early just because I don't know what's going to happen in the last few picks here. So I'll take him here and then maybe try to sneak a little Brandon Ingram, who I think seems healthy, seems ready to go. Or Mathurin. I like Benedict Mathurin. I do have a lot of them this year. So I don't know. I'm kind of all in on Mathurin. To be honest, I have him on like half my teams. But Ingram goes. So Lauri's kind of scary, man. I just don't know. I feel like he's gonna get traded this year. I just don't know where. Obviously, there's a lot of talk to Detroit possibly. But yeah, I just don't. Lauri's hard to trust, man. That Jazz team is just. I really don't like any players from the Jazz. They like to go off sometimes here and there, but so much risk with them. Like even last year with John Collins, like they're barely playing him, and you pick him and you kind of disappointed. So I don't know. You know what? I'm all in, man. Who gives a shit? Let's go, Benedict Mathurin. Like I think he's one of the good players I can play, and that can cover for LeBron until he comes back. So it is what it is. Let's take Benedict Mathurin. I'm all in on Mathurin, man. The fellow Canadian. Let's go. Canada, and Benedict Mathurin, if I'm going to keep up with my name pronunciation. the Benedict Mathurin and Jean Morant, and I can't really mess up Booker. Let's say Buka, Devin Booker, John Morant, LeBron James, Asar Thompson, Benedict Mathurin, and then Anthony Davis are my top 6 players right now. Let's go with this team. It is pretty interesting, but we'll see what happens. Let's see where we're going to be drafting next. We have the pick number 82 and 87, and let's see who the players around that ADP. So there's Kevin Porter. I do like Kevin Porter quite a bit. I like Nembhard as well. Obviously, he's taking over for Halliburton, so there's a little bit more increased responsibility for him. So I think he's possibly a good pick for me. I do like him quite a bit this year. I just want to see how much exposure I have to Nembhard. Nembhard, I do have about 25% exposure to him throughout my teams, and I'm quite in on Kevin Porter. Kevin Porter is the same, so I bought 25. So either one of those guys will be fine for my team. Nembhard, like I said, I don't know what we're expecting from Indiana, right? We obviously, no one has the expectation that they're going to go all the way to the final like they did last year without Halliburton, but they still have some, their core, like obviously Miles Turner's gone too. So there's obviously a concern that they're going to take a step back with their team. But, I think with their coach Carlisle, I think they still have, the ability to do well. It's like the East is not that, I think, strong anyways. This year, like you have an idea who your top 8 are going to be, including the play-ins. So I think they probably could sneak in. But I think that obviously the teams like Miami, they'll probably be competing with Miami. Atlanta probably takes a little step up. I don't think they're in the play-in this year, but the Bulls maybe they'll be competing against them as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do without Halliburton. But I think they still got some good players on there. Siakam, Mathurin, Nembhard. Their center rotation is kind of like not really set in stone yet. Just got Jay Huff for Isaiah Jackson. So I'm not really sure on how that's going to play out, but it can go either way. So we are coming down here, 5 picks away. Not really liking any of the wings that I have available to me. I don't mind OG, so if OG is able to stay, I don't think he will. Kevin Porter's gone, so that makes it kind of a little bit easier for me to take Nembhard as my next guard. Okay, let's go. Leave OG, man. Leave OG, Pilgrim. Leave him. You don't need him, buddy. You don't need him. So Pilgrim, I'm at the mercy of Pilgrim. If he takes OG, then I'll kind of go to Nembhard and then possibly look at getting okay, so he goes Bobby Portis. So I'll go with OG and Anunoby. Just reliable. Like he plays a lot of minutes. They're going to be playing faster in New York. He's a starter. I don't think he comes off the bench. Josh Hart does. And he's good. He has some good defensive stats, especially for underdog scoring. So I do like him. I'm going to stick with Anunoby with my pick there. So Nembhard is going to be my pick if I can get him. And kind of just get that consistency. Not expecting him to do much, but kind of complements my the rest of my guards pretty well here. So let's take Nembhard here. And so our team so far my guards are Devin Booker, John Morant, and Andrew Nembhard. My wings are LeBron James, Asar Thompson, Benedict Mathurin, OG Anunoby, and then my big is Anthony Davis. So we're looking good so far. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, there's quite a few bigs available. So you can always wait on that. usually kind of because it's 16 player build for Underdog, so a lot of teams go with either 6 and 6 and 4, where 6 guards, 6 wings, and 4 bigs. But the thing you got to remember is that only one center is eligible for scoring, and then one flex. So the most you can get is 2 centers that get scored every week, or so. But a lot of bigs do. A lot of bigs are available at the end of the draft. If you look at it, like you got Wendell Carter, you got Kalkenbrenner, the rookie Jay Huff, Mitchell Robinson. Not the best names, but reliable in a sense where like they're going to be playing. I like Zach Edey quite a bit, but he's injured for the first month, so when he comes back, I think he's going to do well. He showed last year in the playoffs that he can hang with them. His size is not a detriment to the team, and so and you got Hartenstein, Claxton, Nas Reed. So you have some picks in the hundreds that you could definitely wait on if you have a really good big to begin with. So obviously, the concern for me with Anthony Davis is health, like I've talked about before. If he can stay healthy, then we're good. I really don't need to rely on another big, but it's just got to be careful with how many bigs you take initially, because you're going to be missing out on a lot of the guards and the wings. So so everything's kind of playing out. One thing about Underdog is you got to be careful as the wings kind of dry out. So you got to try to take them initially, like try to take them first, because they do go quick, and you kind of want to get at least 4 to 5 good ones that kind of play consistently. Especially with mine, LeBron's out for the first month. And we don't know how long that could be. It could be a month. It could be 2 weeks, right? There's no real definite timeline. It's just a nerve issue. So it just might be where he has to play through some of the pain of being a 41-year-old. Trust me, I know. It hurts every day to wake up. That's why I kind of took Mathurin, OG, and Sar, just to kind of get me those 2 players I need now for the first couple of months until we can see what LeBron James is doing. If you are enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. It helps me a ton. I love NBA basketball. Try to do some DFS as much as I can. But if you have any fantasy NBA questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will make sure I try to answer them as much as I can. Like I said, best ball is probably the best, easiest for me, given the day-to-day time commitments, not being able to stay up with the news of daily fantasy when it comes to NBA, with the late scratches or in and out of the lineup. So best ball, just draft and forget, and find out at the end of the year how you did. It's awesome for that. Get to still root for your players and not have to worry about who's playing and who's not. So definitely encourage everyone to get in. The tournament's almost full. Obviously, the season's starting. It's going to end on the 21st, Tuesday afternoon. It'll be cut off, and then that's it. So I know Underdog has this one tournament, but DraftKings has a few of them available. So if you are on DraftKings as well, you should jump on there. So coming around the bend here, we have some options here. Not a lot, but we have some. So I'm going to go with, let's see what happens with Pilgrim. I just don't know where this guy's head is at. He's drafting a weird team for my liking. But I'm going to go with John Collins if he doesn't take him. But let's see what happens. Okay, so he goes Norm Powell. I'm going to go with John Collins. I think he is in a better situation now that he's playing with the Clippers. The Clippers are not going to rest him like the Utah Jazz were doing last year. They're going to be playing him quite a bit. I think he fits in. If Kawhi's not playing, he gets in the starting lineup. Even off the bench, he's going to be a good player, but at least he's playing. And compared to last year when he was sitting a lot of games with some mysterious injuries. I think it's the the team now that he's on, the ability that he still has. He's a big that puts up a lot of defensive stats as well as and great off the pick and roll. So I think he's a good pick on that wing. Like I said, I'm kind of just allocating for LeBron's time away for the first month, and so I think he's a good fit in there. The guards don't really, I don't know, I really don't like any of these guards I'm seeing here. So I wonder if I should just go with a big or let's take let's take Aaron Gordon. I don't know. It's really hard. Yeah, it's either Aaron Gordon. There's Jabari. There's Tari Eason. And Cam Whitmore. I went with Gordon. The preseason he's been looking good. He's doing well. He's kind of reliable. Last year he was kind of hurt, so he didn't play as many games. But I think like I said, with a lot of depth this year, they might be able to manage his minutes effectively where he doesn't get hurt. And having to play so much. So, but I think when he's on the court, he's pretty effective. So if he can stay on the court, I think he is a good pick. Denver's always competing. You never have to worry about them sitting players for any reason. And I think right now with the start of the preseason, like I said, obviously they're bringing in Cam Johnson, so a little bit different from Michael Porter Jr., but not much. I don't think I think it's really a 1-for-1. And Cam Johnson might even be better than Michael Porter Jr. So I think it was a good trade for them. But in the limited time that we have seen them on the preseason, he's been doing pretty well, Aaron Gordon. So I think what I saw was he's putting up the second most fantasy points after Joker. I know it's preseason, so we can't take too much of it. But I think playing with a player like a Joker, you get so much more spacing on the floor to put up shots, and he has a really healthy usage rate as well in the preseason. So I'm hoping that carries over into the season. And like I said, he's my sixth wing, so I think I'm good to go with the wings. I don't think I need to worry about them. I can just pick on my bigs and my guards now. So I think for my wings, I'm pretty set and happy with the guys I got. Like I said, I'm just gonna go for guys that kind of give me a good standard. Can't look at it. Guys are going to give you huge numbers this late in the draft. So guys that can just put up decent games if they're starting and if they're healthy. That's really what I'm looking for in my last few wings that I do get. So to recap here, my team is Devin Booker, John Morant, and Andrew Nembhard as my guards, and my wings are LeBron James, Asar Thompson, Benedict Mathurin, OG, and Anunoby, John Collins, and Aaron Gordon. And then my big is Anthony Davis. I only have one so far, so I'll probably be targeting a big now. And somebody that maybe, like I said, reliable, that kind of plays a lot of game, durable, that can maybe cover for AD if he does go down, which sometimes is inevitable, but AD loves the mid-game leaving, right? Whether it be I got poked in the eye, but I think he's wearing goggles now, so he can't get poked in the eye. Hopefully this time around, he's gonna be wearing goggles this year. So maybe that's one less injury you have to worry about for AD leaving mid-game. He can't get poked in the eye, everybody. That's off the table now. So. But his pinky fingernail gets dislocated, gets torn off, or someone kicked him in the nuts, or someone pinched his underarm or something, right? That guy's just always mid game. That guy has something going on. So trying to find a guy that can cover for his mid game injuries. I don't mind Hartenstein. His role kind of diminished, obviously, with Chet came back last year, but I think he's going to be playing on a good team. I like Aldama too. He's reliable. I think with Edie out, Edie got taken in the draft, so I can't really go after him, but he's reliable. He had a good year last year. he's getting better every year. And now with Bain out, that's one less guy he has to worry about taking the ball. Obviously Jaren Jackson and Aldama goes, so it doesn't make a difference anyways. But Aldama, I think in the first month or two until Edie comes back, he's gonna be a good player, and then he's a good, useful player off the bench for the big men. So I really like him, as one of the underrated bigs or forwards, because I think he's a forward on DraftKings, but he's a big here on Underdog. So it makes it easy for me. I'm probably going to go with Hartenstein if Pilgrim, who hasn't done me dirty so far, but you never know, doesn't do me dirty and doesn't take him. So I'm going to go with Hartenstein here. And they don't, so I'll take Hartenstein. Like I said, reliable big. With Chet playing, he's probably not going to play much, but obviously they're going to rest Chet quite a bit. And Jalen's out right now, so Hartenstein might start for the beginning of the year. So, like I said, reliable. If he's playing, he's going to put up points. That's the biggest thing. So, I'll take him now to start. And now we're coming on to, I am going to obviously take a guard here, I think. So and I will be back in, sorry, just had some technical difficulty. I'll be back in just 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that. I am back. Yeah, some technical difficulties with the mic. Your old man does not really know sometimes how things work, so had to figure that out. But to keep everyone intrigued, everyone is dying to know who I picked. I picked Drew Holiday, one of my favorite players in the NBA. Still, Drew's kicking around. He's on Portland now. And everyone kind of thinks it's Portland, the team that's tanking, but I don't think they are this year. I think they're going all in. They actually traded for Drew. Like, it's not like, okay, well, it's a salary dump here. And, who wants to take Drew Holiday from our hands when the Boston Celtics were kind of offering him up? Like, Portland actively went after him. They've been starting him. They got Denny. They got Klingon. I think they're actually trying to make a run. Like, they're not trying to just suck, right? So I think Drew, he's looked good in the preseason. I think he's not going to be he's going to have to be playing quite a bit. Scoots out for the beginning of the year. So I don't think they're looking to have Drew just chill and do a Middleton dance. I actually think that they're actually wanting Drew to do well and be the leader on the floor that they need. Obviously offer that defensive impact that he always does. So I think that Portland's actually going to be playing to win, which is a good thing. And I think Drew's a good source of just reliability, great defensive stats. Can score as well. Been doing really well in the preseason, kind of fitting in seamlessly on that team. Lillard's out, obviously, so we don't have to worry about that. And Scoot, he's a different type of player. But when you want a true point guard, I think Drew offers that. So I think Drew's a great pick, especially in the later rounds. Like, he's gonna be playing quite a bit, I think. So No worries about having to rest players or anything like that. So, Drew's one of my favorites here. So I'm going to go with, I took Drew Holiday. And if you could like and subscribe, that would be great. It would be very appreciated. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Anything fantasy related. If you have any comments, if you think I suck, or if you think I don't make any sense, then please feel free to add that in. That's all good. I totally forgot to add some music, and no, it's probably everyone's having to hear me. So let's add some music on there as well in the background. So it doesn't sound like I'm just talking to myself. Well, I am kind of talking to myself, so it doesn't make a difference anyways. But coming around here. Where are we now? We are looking to add a big. I think I can get some later on. So let's try to focus on the guards. I like Colin Sexton just because, Charlotte. Like, they're Charlotte. Like, what else can I say? They have the players, man. I just don't know. They just can't stay healthy. I don't know what it is. Somehow they fucking mess it up all the time. But they got Colin Sexton. Sexton showed that he can put up numbers, even limited minutes. Like, he is pretty much a fantasy point per minute player. And I think he's going to have a role, like either he's starting or he's coming off the bench, like he did last year with Utah. But, it is what it is. He might be a trade candidate down the future if Charlotte sucks again, which they're kind of used to be doing, or he might do well. I like Colin Sexton, so if he's available, I'm going to take him here, and if he's starting, that's awesome. So let's take Colin Sexton to the team. Like I said, he's a great bench player as well. If he's not starting, then he can come off the bench and make an impact. Like I said, Utah last year was doing some weird ass shit, playing their guys, not playing their guys. So I think that Colin Sexton will do well. I just like saying the name, man. Sexton. So that's another guy I can mispronounce his name in the French way. It's Colin Sexton, right? Dad jokes never get old. So we are almost done here. I really didn't pick. Let's pick. Let's pick. Let's double down on our exposure to Anthony Davis. Let's take Derek Lively. If AD's down, then Derek Lively is going to do well. So let's take Derek Lively there to kind of add to our center, our big men, to our three big men that we have so far, which is Anthony Davis, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Derek Lively. Thinking if I should go for a fourth. I like who I have so far, but let's see who's available later on. I usually can maybe pick up a big in the later rounds, in the last round pick, so we'll see what's available. I do still need a guard, so I'll make that my priority for the next pick. One of my favorites, Dennis Schroeder goes. Euro basketball superstar, led Germany to the title. But unfortunately, he's on the Sacramento Kings that just signed Russell Westbrook. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I really don't get at this age what you need Russell Westbrook for. But that's just a thorn on his side. So as much as I loved Schroeder early in the draft season, kind of not liking that pick now. And just too many, like when you look at it, when I was watching the Kings preseason, it's just too many guys that want the ball in their hands. And it's hard to kind of get your shot and try to do anything. I've kind of fallen off the Schroeder bandwagon this late. I do like Jared McCain. I think a lot of people are forgetting about how great of a start he had last year. Like he was rookie of the year candidate last year, like in the first month, like he was doing awesome. Then unfortunately, like tore his ACL, I think that's what happened. Tore his ACL, and he was down, and then came back, and then now had a thumb injury, so missing a lot of and I think so it's gonna take him a little bit of time to kind of get up to speed with this season. But I think that's perfect for my team, just because I have the guard depth to kind of like withstand like him getting into it. But I think I love Jared McCain. on that Philadelphia 76ers team. If Maxey goes down for any reason, he's going to step in. He's shown that he belongs. He's done really well. He's gotten that taste of that NBA already, so he knows what to expect. It's obviously health is a concern, obviously, for him, even though he's like a second-year player, hasn't been able to stay healthy. But yeah, I like Jared McCain. I just can't see how people are forgetting. People are forgetting about him. I think people remember his start of the season last year. So, but when he does come back, I think he's going to be awesome. The team is a little bit stacked now. Obviously, the 76ers. If Paul George and Embiid are back, then maybe McCain is not going to have the many opportunities like he did last year. Obviously, I think with the injuries last year, he got a lot more opportunity than expected. So maybe that kind of helped, but. Like I said, just banking on the talent right now when it comes to him. So, I like Jared McCain there. Who else is available as a guard? Ayo Dosunmu is also a good pick. Just not gonna. I don't know. Chances are he's not starting this year, so he's probably gonna be coming off the bench. And the thing is, I guess he's one injury away of Kobe White, who's dealing with a calf strain in the preseason, hasn't played any preseason games. So if he's not ready to go, then Dosunmu is going to be playing a lot more. But if Kobe White's back, then Dosunmu might take a little bit of a hit. Because I think their starting five now will be Giddey, Kobe White, Buzelis, Isaac Okoro. I think the coaching staff likes him, and then Vucevic. So I think Dosunmu will be the sixth man. Could do well in that role. So, potentially he's a good pick. I can probably see if for any reason McCain goes. But I do like Kalkenbrenner. Wendell Carter is not a bad pick as my 4th big. The thing with these two is Mitchell Robinson as well. Just want to see this. The thing with Kalkenbrenner is that the Hornets center position isn't really fortified right now, so he has the option of taking over. So I think that's a good thing. So we'll see how that turns out. But let's take Jared McCain here. Just trying to take a look, and who else could I possibly even take over McCain? Oh, Pilgrim. Last round, man. You do me dirty like that. Oh, man. Come on, brother. Okay, back to the drawing board. Ooh, I don't have much time. Oh, Dosunmu got taken too. Damn. These guys. Maybe my stream's popping. Okay, let's say Kalkenbrenner. We'll figure it out. So there's Cole Anthony. If Kevin Porter was to go down, Cole Anthony would take over the point guard duties. That's one option. I don't know if I love the Dick. Like I said, a lot of mouths to feed in Toronto. I don't know when he's gonna get his unless there's some injuries. I love Lonzo. I just don't think he's gonna play enough minutes. Wiggins is interesting to me because if for any reason any of the injuries to the OKC Thunder guys, he plays quite a bit and he can put up a lot of good stats when he does get the time. So that's interesting. Man, it is pretty slim pickings here. I think I want to go with Cole Anthony. I just think that I think with the Bucks, like, you just never know what's going to happen with that team, and if for any reason somebody's injured or, like if he's the primary bench option, then he's going to be doing well. So let's go with, I can go with either Wiggins or Cole Anthony. Let's go with Cole Anthony. Not my favorite pick, but he is pretty reliable, off the bench. If he gets 20 minutes, he can probably put up 15, 20 fantasy points. Not the best, but like I said, one injury away from being the starting point guard of the Milwaukee Bucks if for any reason Kevin Porter was to go down. So yeah, let's go with him. So my team here now will be guards: Devin Booker, John Morant, Andrew Nembhard, Drew Holiday, Colin Sexton, and Cole Anthony. My wings are LeBron James, Asar Thompson, Benedict Mathurin, OG Anunoby, John Collins, Aaron Gordon, and my bigs are Anthony Davis, Isaiah Hartenstein, Derek Lively, and Ryan Kalkbrenner. So that taking that rookie there, hopefully he wins the starting job in Charlotte and we can rejoice. I've already named my team high risk, high reward. Obviously a lot of injury risk with Morant. With LeBron now, given age 41 season. Anthony Davis brings a lot of risk too. So my top 3 players on each position bring a lot of risk with injuries. So if they're able to stay healthy, hey man, I got like 3 guys that can be in the top 24 picks, like 3 guys that can go in the top 24. So I'll take that any day. And then I got Devin Booker too. So I got possibly 4 players that can be the top 24 players in any draft. So if they were healthy and nothing to be concerned about. So because I think Ja's obviously fallen because of his injury during the preseason, sprained ankle or something, twisted ankle or wherever it may be. LeBron's obviously his nerve issue. And Anthony Davis has been fine, but LeBron and Morant have dropped, so I'm taking the risk on that. Maybe I miss a few games to start off the year, but overall they're probably going to put up good numbers. So that's it. Thank you very much if you listened after, please like and subscribe. I'll try to do a couple more drafts before the end of Tuesday, before the season starts. I'm pretty excited about that. A lot of tournaments are up for the Tuesday opening slate. That'll be very exciting. I'll see if I can try to get a stream on for that. But thank you once again. If you like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the dad jokes. They were pretty bad. Pretty bad pronunciation of the names. That's pretty bad. But at the same time, it's been fun. It's been fun to do this. And we'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody. And best of luck in your best ball drafts.